Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and today I wanted to share a story with you guys about all the struggles and problems that I go through when I shake hands with someone, right? And well, actually, before we get into that, if you guys can please subscribe, if you guys can please like this video, that would be awesome. I'm trying to get this channel to 100 subscribers by the end of December. If you guys can help me do that, that would be amazing, and I'll probably like you a little bit more, right? So with that, let's get into the story. Let's get into the story. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, like most people, right? Most people growing up, there's a lot of importance as far as like learning how to, shake hands, or at least, the circles that I've been in, to be able to, have like a nice firm handshake, to do it right, eye contact, smile, all that good stuff, right? So in addition, as growing up as a young man, right? I was growing up learning how to do a proper handshake, learning how to have proper eye contact, I'm trying to learn all these other things. But, in addition to all that, learning, there were like so many other problems I had to deal with, right? And, you know, my problems aren't like that big of a deal, right? It's like relatively simple to go through, but every time I shake someone's hand, and I'm super conscious about this, right? And oh my goodness, it is terrible. But let me just get into it, right? So, you know, a lot of the things about having a good handshake, right, is like having a firm grip, not too loose, like a little like or not too tight where you're like squeezing the other person's hand, right? Because if you're one of those people, like, what are you doing, man? I don't get it. Are you trying to like show your strength? Are you trying to assert your dominance, man? Those are just uncomfortable handshakes. If you're watching this and you do that, not to try and offend you or anything, but yeah, just loosen it a bit, man. But with that, yeah. So I'm trying to have like this nice in between. But one of the things that was super struggle for me, was, for one, I'm left-handed, so I usually, I like to have my wrist free of stuff. So I actually have my watch on my right hand. So depending on how deep or how far someone goes in the handshake, they're like, right? Sometimes my watch might get in the way. Sometimes, it's kind of like that little uncomfortable feeling, and it's like, for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. But it's crazy because every time, I go shake someone's hand, I usually like try to bring my watch as far back as I can, just to avoid that situation, right? But this is like the real struggle right here, right? So for some reason, I don't know, maybe when I was younger doing taekwondo, when I was doing whatever else, maybe I was like playing chess too hard or something, man. My wrist, every time you shake it in a certain way, you move it in a certain way, it makes like this cracking sound, right? But in addition to the sound, you can almost feel it crack. And it's something that just like keeps cracking if you were to do that motion. I'm sure like some of you guys can relate to that, right? So with that, that happens in my wrist. So unfortunately, yeah, it happens in my right wrist. Maybe I don't even know if it happens in my left wrist. It might, but yeah, it happens in my right wrist. So every time someone shakes my hand, if they shake it in a certain way, they will like if they do one of these, like where they move their hand like this, and they'll like crack my wrist. It just causes so many scenes, man. It's like terrible because that's such a bad first impression, right? It's like, oh hi, I'm Jackie. I'm Mr. Jackie Ma. Nice to meet you, and then they're like, oh my god, I don't like almost killed your hand, right? And but yeah, and then every time I have to go explaining that no, it's fine, it's something that always happens, right? And it's just kind of like bothersome, right? So as I've been, growing up, as I've been kind of dealing with handshakes more and more often, I kind of had to develop this certain technique, this like full body handshake movement almost, right, to avoid all these different things. So, man, I've really put in a lot of effort and a lot of thought into my handshake, right? So, it really is like, firm enough, not too tight, not too loose, watch back, you know, wrist firm and tight, aligned with my forearm, so that when it shakes, it is there's no crack, right? Because that's just like me trying to be courteous to you, man. Because if you were to crack my wrist, you're gonna feel terrible. I already know, especially if you don't know me, right? And that's just not like a good way to start off a first impression. And so yeah, because of that, because I'm a courteous mother sucker, that's what I do, right? But yeah, in addition to being left-handed and doing all that other stuff, right? It's just yeah. But I don't know. This is something that I've always been, thinking about. I don't know if you guys ever have to do like something special when you guys shake your hands or give hugs or whatever else because you got like, you know, pointy armpit hairs, and if you hug someone too tight, you're gonna poke them or something. I don't know. I'm okay. That's kind of silly, but yeah, that's basically my story and just my sort of dilemma that I've somewhat overcome. I don't know. It's a lifelong struggle, you know. I know it's not that big of a deal, and I should be lucky. I have hands to shake, right? But yeah, well, with that, you know, I'm grateful that I've came to develop the system. If you guys want to learn this handshake system, you know, let me know. I'll make a video on it. But with that, yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, you know, like I said earlier, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of December. If you guys help me, that'd be awesome. I'll like you a lot more, especially because, you know, if you watched this far, you're probably awesome. So, yeah, like this video, you know, all that great stuff. And with that, you know, expect some cool content coming soon.